For centuries, craftsmen and craftswomen all over the United States have proudly created quality products that ultimately brandish the iconic phrase, Made in America. As long as I can remember, I've been fascinated with American artistry. It's something I pay close attention to when buying products, and it's something that has become more important to me over the years. Searching for these American-made crafts has become more than a hobby for me. It's become my obsession. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Today we're going to do a little different format for the American Ride. I'm actually going to be the one that's going to be interviewed, and I'm excited to share my story, and that's basically what it's about. So here we go.
Welcome to Beyond. Joining us today is Martin Mahano, who's an entrepreneur at heart. He has a passion for his family, his friends, cigars, music, motorcycles, and fashion. By the way, this guy knows fashion. He has started the Dead Legends t-shirts, paying homage to the fallen icons, and recently started a YouTube channel, American Ride. He is a style contributor to the local OC magazine, Nobleman. And we're also going to talk about the known unknown business that you also recently started. So clearly, you have a lot of ideas, and unlike a lot of people I've come across, you've actually executed on the ideas. So it's really a testament to your vision and your stick-to-itiveness and your determination. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. So, you know, you're very fascinating because you really have this eclectic view of not only style, but things you get involved in, and you really have a high touch to the human condition. You really connect with people. And I know we've had many conversations about life and about people and the struggle and the success of it all. And so take us back to your early life that led up to your career. How did your journey get started? How did you get to this point where you're at today?
Take you back, my journey. Well, it all started in San Francisco. Born in San Francisco in 1975. I grew up in the Mission District. It's not what it is today, so those that are visiting the Mission District and get this little Disneyland or Williamsburg version of it, it was very, very different growing up.
How so?
It was a ghetto.
Yeah.
You know, it was just, think about Santa Ana, how that much in itself, certain parts of it were ghetto, and it's just gentrifying and getting better. Mm-hmm. You know, I think progression is important for all mankind, correct? But at what cost? But anyway, that's a different subject. But yeah, that's where I grew up, and my folks in the mid-'80s moved us to a town called Petaluma in Northern California, north of San Francisco, 30 minutes to be exact. And that was an eye-opening experience for me because it was a suburb town, and it's the first time that I had experienced any type of prejudice. And so, with that being said, I think that's where I got my start with, you know, being vocal and building a passion and being able to execute things. And it was interesting. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine about high school, and I was like, man, to see you do what you're doing today, high school is a box for you. It truly is for individuals that are creative, and especially a public high school like the high school that I went to, didn't have the resources for creative minds. And so I was fortunate, however, that I came across some teachers that were themselves and helped me execute a couple things at school that, you know, kind of, you know, were these brainchilds of mine, and
kind of unlock that vision, that potential. It's interesting about school in general, high school, junior high. I think it's a box for a lot of people. And I think the construct and how they design the curriculum and the programs are not appropriate for everybody.
Correct.
Probably for most people. I think a lot of people struggle because if you don't take tests well, you don't memorize well, you get pinged for it or dinged for it.
I was great at it up to a certain point where I just stopped caring about school or you know, being a scholar. I just have to say that people go through certain things in their life, you know, and the thing that happened for me was when my folks got divorced. I was like, they were the ones that wanted me to get good grades. They were the ones that wanted me to get into these advanced programs and things like. When they got divorced, I was like, why am I going to continue to do this? However, that's something that I learned later on in life. You don't do things for other people. You do it for yourself.
You do what you love. You follow your passion.
You follow your passion.
But what was that impact like when your parents divorced? I mean, your whole world is built on a certain philosophy and perspective, and that was your rock at some level. and all of a sudden that comes apart. What did that do to you, and what did that do for you?
It broke me apart. I lost myself because one, the trust was lost, especially in the way that my folks got divorced. But being older, I understand now. But when you're young and don't understand what two adults go through, it broke me. It destroyed me.
How old were you when this happened?
Well, they were divorced secretively. I want to say when I was 11 or 10 years old, sorry, and then I didn't discover that they were divorced until I was about 14, 15 years old. Already a rebellious teenager,
Sure.
and that just kind of
Fueled that.
propelled, exactly. It just fueled the anger and everything, the angst that I was going through as a teenager. But I soon discovered that I needed I think I was about 18 years old when I was like, okay, this is stupid. Everything that I'm doing, this anger. Why am I persisting, resisting what's persisting, and which is I need to get out of school and move on with my life.
Yeah.
But
a lot of people get stuck in that story, right? They're angry about something, they get stuck, and then they get things meanings in their brain that really don't mean that, but they sort of lock into it because it fuels whatever they're feeling. And it rationalizes it, and then eventually you break free of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's liberating.
And I think that was the first time that I had encountered that whole mindset where, why am I going to harbor? Mind you, it's easier said than done because throughout the years, it's been easier for me to just kind of step away. We're human. It'll sting in the moment, maybe for like a day, and then you just got to move on, right?
Got to move on.
But when you're a teenager and learning.
It seems like everything. Yeah. So you mentioned a couple things. You mentioned the racism piece, and you mentioned your parents' divorce. My next question is, what were some of the setbacks and challenges you experienced early on in your journey? Those are two big ones, for sure. But were there other ones that sort of shaped the man you are today and gave you that resolve and that toughness?
Yeah. Having a child at 20 years old, that wasn't planned. That really forced me to grow up and become an adult. Yeah, you're legally an adult at 18, but I look back at when I was 20. I have a 21-year-old now, and he's still, in my mind, he's still a kid just because he's legally an adult. He still has a lot of growing up to do.
Right.
I think that setback just helped me push forward. So it was a positive setback, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And what else? So many. Alcoholism. I'll be very open about that. Alcoholism for many, many years set me back because I was blind to what it was doing to me, my body, and the people around me. And it's a disease. It's a drug, and it's horrible. But once I let that go.
What was your recipe for overcoming it, or was it an everyday struggle?
The recipe for me overcoming was I almost lost someone dear to me. The love of my life. She almost walked out. And not that she gave me the ultimatum, but one, I had to do it for myself. I've learned that you, as an individual, need to do everything for yourself first.
Yep.
Because if you can't heal yourself first, if you can't make yourself right first, if you can't make your mind right first, and body and your mind, body, and spirit, there's no point on trying to go after someone or stick with someone if you're not right yourself.
Right. So was it a spiritual journey, or was it willpower, or was it a combination of both? That when you looked at the drink or the alcohol, you said, flip the switch, I'm done, because you saw what you could lose. You had some now new perspective. Maybe you had some spiritual piece of it that gave you that confidence or strength, or
it was a combination of everything. And morally, like, would I like it if somebody didn't give up a substance for me?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what really hit me. I'm like, man, what kind of a person?
I love you, but I want all these other vices.
It's like, what kind of person would I be if I was selfish in that way?
Yeah.
And after all, that's the biggest part of what I've learned I want to say all of this that's leading to where I am today has all really happened in the past 6 years. And it all starts with love, self-love, and then being able to love other people. But to literally look at this person and say to myself, like, wow, you really can't give up this drink for this amazing human being.
Right.
And so I switched, I reversed the role. I wanted to see how I would feel. I stepped outside of myself. And when I realized, like, man, I would feel like crap. Do I really want this person feeling like this? Eventually they'll get over it, but no, I don't want to be that person to hurt someone like that. So,
It's funny, I had this guy one time meet my dad, and he's since passed, and he said, we walked out of that meeting, he goes, your dad's really evolved. My dad was 72 at the time. I looked at him, I said, Daron, that's a really interesting word you use. And what you just said really struck that chord. You really evolved through that experience, and you got out of your ego, which is hard for a lot of people to do, because they're blanky. The little blanky and dinky is their ego, right? They walk around, and yet you were able to step out of that and still be a man. And it actually takes a bigger man to do what you just did, to recognize that and do something about it. Because sort of beginning with the end in mind, right? That this person will hopefully be in your life the rest of your life, and that has infinitely more value than maybe the buzz you get or the satisfaction you get from alcohol.
Absolutely. I mean, it's 6 years. Fast forward to now, 6 years ahead, and we're stronger than ever. Awesome. We've had our challenges, but it's great to see what we've endured and what we've overcome, and we're in it together. I'm here today because of her and her support. And so, if you're watching, Paula, I love you. Thank you.
Hats off to Paula. I met her. She's a beautiful, wonderful woman.
You.
So let's talk about Dead Legends t-shirts. I'm very curious about this. What was the process you took to start this company and come up with the concept?
So, 2008, I'm having a cigar with a buddy of mine in New York, and I started telling him, like, hey, I love Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos, and I've always had this idea of seeing iconic faces on a t-shirt with the Day of the Dead elements to it. So I gotta be really cool, but at the time, New York City, you would think I would know people and find a way to get this done. But my mind wasn't ready yet. I wasn't ready yet. So fast forward to 2018, after being in Orange County for several years and meeting different people, this time around, I was just like, you know what? I need to make this happen. I'm not an artist. I'm an artist in a different way, or creative in a different way. So a friend of mine, Sabet, he is an amazing artist, a beautiful human being, and I reached out to him. I was like, hey, and told him the idea. I told him what I wanted to do and what it was about. It pays homage to fallen icons and people that have helped reshape society or have contributed in some way, shape, or form. He goes, cool, I like the idea, it's like, but you have to draw it in, with Day of the Dead elements. It's like,
is there any trademark or copyright issues if you do really iconic people?
So the thing is, it's an artist parody, and so with an artist parody, it's
more creative license.
Yeah, is it really that individual that you're looking at? If you look at the Frida Kahlo that we did, there's elements to, the way Frida wore rose or flowers in her hair and whatnot, but it looks like a skull.
Yeah.
It could have been inspired from my wife. Then there's a James Dean, again another artist parody. I'm looking at a skull. So
as if you don't have enough on your plate, let's talk about the next thing you guys are working on. And you've had several shows come out. So you recently started a YouTube channel called The American Ride. Yeah. So talk to us about that and what's your vision with The American Ride.
So The American Ride, the reason why I am doing it is to create a voice for American artisans, or people that have a trade that it's American based. It's saddening to see what's going on with jobs being exported, with jobs being filled in from immigrants from they're getting their work visas, and companies are bringing people in from other countries so that to protect and preserve their bottom line. And to see this gap between the poor, the middle class, and the rich, that's primarily what inspired me to do this, because I want to bring to light these brands so that people can say, hey, we have people locally that you can support instead of going to Amazon, or instead of buying disposable and everything that's made in China. What people don't realize, that the more disposable they shop, they're spending way more money instead of buying something like this denim jacket that I'll have in my closet, and I'll be able to pass it down to one of my sons because it was built with love and great materials and constructed with pride here on American soil.
So are you with this show? Are you highlighting mom and pops or small businesses?
It's all small businesses
that are cranking out very unique items and American-made items and products.
Absolutely. The first episode we actually did it on a little shop in Laguna called North Menswear. One of my favorite shops. That's actually where I got most of my American-made goods. That's what they really focus on, is curating their shop with American-made goods. And, they have brands, one brand, Banks Journal, they have Ebbett's Vintage, which is a hat company, Free Note Cloth. They just introduced a men's skincare line or hair product line called Jack Henry Co. I want to say they're based out of Colorado. But he curates it with brands that are made in USA, and that's what that shop's about. Mind you, some people will balk, oh, why are these jeans $300? Well, they're $300 because they're going to last you a long time.
Right.
There's a company that just started, I want to say a year or two ago, called the American Giant, and it's based out of San Francisco. But the individual that started that company was in tech, and he left tech because he saw and recognized what's going on with America. Where are all the jobs? He purchased a cotton mill in South Carolina and then a manufacturing mill in North Carolina, and that's where he gets. He sources his own cotton and he manufactures everything in North Carolina, but then sells it out of his shop in San Francisco. They just opened one in Soho. The sweater was on Slate.com as the most expensive but the best hoodie that you'll ever buy, and it's like a $128 sweater, sold out like that. Because there is a need. Obviously, if you can sell out a product like that, it means that you're tugging at the heartstrings of Americans.
Sure.
And it's not a matter of being patriotic, but this is the soil that I grew up on. This is the land that I'm from. Why are we worrying about what And it's not to negate the fact that there's atrocities happening all over the world, but why are we the police? Why do we need to focus on that? Not to get political, but let's take care of
the home folks.
Yeah. We're going to become a third world country if we don't start taking care of our own.
Yeah.
You go to LA and it already looks like a third world country.
Yeah, it does.
You got Skid Row, you got tent cities growing.
Massive homeless problem.
Yeah, it's a massive homeless problem. Not just there. You got San Francisco, you got New York. The difference with New York, you don't see it as much because they all go underground. But it's starting to hit every city. And how sad is that? Why? Because we moved all of our jobs overseas because we want to fill our, some executive wants to fill up his pockets. And I get it. I'm not opposed to capitalism, but at what cost?
Right.
We need to take care of.
So exposing these companies really makes a lot of sense. How do they find out about the American Ride on YouTube? And do you have a web channel or
no website, but the handle is at the American Ride on Instagram, and it's American Ride on YouTube.
Nice. Hey, make sure to hit like and subscribe. He does a great job. He's very animated, and you're really doing a really good service to American business. So is there anything we haven't covered you'd like to share with the audience?
No, I think we hit it.
Awesome. Where can they learn more about you personally?
Just catch me at any of the known unknown events.
Okay.
Or if you see me with Ben,
say hi.
Yeah, say hi.
Awesome, man.
Yeah. Or at official Martin Mahano.
Is your handle on Instagram?
That's your handle on Instagram, yeah.
Fantastic. Man, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Dude, you got a great story.
Thank you.
You're a soulful guy, and I appreciate it.
Did I cover everything? You tell me.
Yeah, I just sit here in admiration of everything you're involved in and your passion, and you're young. And this is not the end of the story for sure.
No.
There'll be multiple chapters written, so just hats off to you, my man.
Thank you.
And how you impact people and how you touch people. I'm one of those people.
I appreciate that.
So thank you.
Yeah. Actually, you just before we are we done or are we still
going? No, keep going, man.
You just hit on something. Young. Definitely, I'm 44 years old. It's never too late to start. What I'm doing now, is it making me wealthy? Not right now, but I know that it will. And for me, it's not about the wealth. It's about making passive income, so I don't have to trade my time for money anymore. Right. And that's truly why I've shifted gears, because I want to be able to pass something down and leave a legacy to my children, all of them. You know, and it's important to know that you have to reinvent yourself, progress, evolve.
Totally agree.
So
otherwise you die, you're dead.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for the wisdom and insight. Appreciate it, brother.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
And just like that, we're done. I hope that you got some insight to my story. I hope that it inspires you. Until the next American Ride.